The stakes are higher than ever. The time is now. Will hope finally prevail. Welcome to the 2022 FC Dragonriders FIFA Invitational. High upon high. Welcome to the 2022 FC Dragonriders Selection Show. I'm waiting for my co-host, Max Beeler, the 13-time champion, to join me. Max, I would like you to hold this mic for me here really quickly.
I got it.
Say hello to the guests.
How we doing, guys?
Willie Mays Hayes is tuned in.
That's exactly who I was hoping we tuned in. 14 years in, who would have thought we'd still be here, huh?
God damn, that sound pisses me off.
What sound pisses you off?
Guys, I'm sorry for the technical difficulties. Welcome. We would like to thank you all for tuning in. We're so happy you're here. The 14th year that we've done this. Tonight we have the selection show, which is the tournament draw. We're going to figure out who's playing who, when, what time, and where tomorrow. We have a beautiful stadium here, multiple stadiums hosted by our friend Wales. Let's get Wales in here really quickly. Special thing about Wales, for some reason he's wearing a Netherlands jersey right now. But he was also our runner-up from last year, so we'd like him to just say a couple words before we kind of kick things off.
My condolences to the former Dutch manager. I'm wearing this in honor of him, and as a sign of respect for an untested manager, I'm taking on an ambitious squad this year. But Argentina, it was a pleasure last year facing you twice, losing twice to you in the tournament. Wales had a miracle run last year. We'd like to repeat that, but we'd like to improve upon it. I hope we can see each other again in the finals. Welcome to Wales.
Thank you for having us. So the way this works, we have a spinning round wheel that will basically at random select a group of teams who will play each other in group play. So we have this year 5 groups, 4 teams in each group. That makes 20 players. We then proceed from there to a double elimination bracket tournament. But before we get started, I know we have some viewers who have been keeping track of our 13-time champions' top 10 ever FIFA moments. Max, we're all waiting to hear what number 1 is. Would you mind telling everybody what your favorite FIFA moment of all time is during our tournaments?
Absolutely. So if you've been following, we've been doing the top 10 most memorable moments in FIFA tournament history, and I would just like to point out that these are not my favorite moments in FIFA tournament history, because number 1 actually was one of my least favorite moments in FIFA tournament history. But this came back in, I believe, 2019 was the year. We were in the nice, quaint town of Alma, Nebraska, hosting.
Russia.
This would be Russia hosting the tournament.
We don't talk about Russia, though, right now.
We don't talk about Russia because it's a pretty controversial topic. But before they were controversial, this was their host year, and in the finals of the tournament, it happened to be me and the former manager of the Netherlands playing in a match that they needed to win to send it to a final game and deciding game. And in the waning moments of this game,
hold on. How about instead of you telling us about it, why don't we just show everybody what happened?
That's a great idea.
Let's just jump to that really quickly here.
Looks as though they want to take this
Stecklenburg makes a save, vacates the goal.
For them. They're already leading by 1, of course. Corner played into the middle.
And the Dutch manager has
There's space
conceded
for it.
defeat, it
Now
appears.
out on the wing.
As it appears, his decision to put in Stecklenburg has proven disastrous.
He's just dropped back in.
A disastrous turn of events.
Midfield.
What was a beautiful game has turned into a comedy of errors for the Dutch.
They could.
Dutch are attacking. They have a shot. Can they redeem themselves?
That is a fine goal, and it's brought them back to level 1 score. Very good play. Certainly, they've been very positive since they went behind. Now they've got reward for them.
You missed it all because you went to go get another beer. But anyway, tell us that was the famous goal by Martin Stecklenburg.
Well, I'd just like to say that it's hard to watch that a lot of times because that was a very painful moment of my FIFA resume. And so I thought that was a good time to go grab a beer because sometimes that's hard to relive that. And I've relived it earlier today when we were watching it over as well. So definitely the most stunning moment in FIFA tournament history. From my perspective, there might be some people who argue that, but when you have a veteran goalie such as Martin Stecklenburg in such a crucial moment of that match come up and kick one with his off foot outside the box and put his team, back right in contention, it's pretty devastating as it was for the Argentina squad for sure. So big moment. I wish more people would have been awake and kind of alive to celebrate that moment.
If you noticed, Willie Mays Hayes, who plays as USA, was asleep during that entire sequence, and when the goal was scored, he was shook and awake by the thunderous roar from the crowd.
Yeah, some would say that on the Richter scale, that scored pretty high when Stecklenburg scored that goal, and that's something in the last couple of years we've looked to fix is have the FIFA tournament finishing at a little more friendlier hours of the evening, so we don't have to be kind of dying at the end of the night as we finish the tournament. So that's a good thing, I think, for us.
Well, Max, we thank you for sharing your top 10 moments. We look forward to whatever next year may bring us. But also, let's talk about one thing that happened for the first time ever. We had a long-standing rule that if the opposing team's goalkeeper scores on you, that player has to take 2 shots, and that was the first time that it ever happened, and Max had to take 2 shots in that final. And then since then, we've had a lot of goalkeepers try to then replicate that miraculous action. But anyway, we're running short on time, where we should probably get to what you're all here for, like the draw. Who is playing who? Everyone who's tuning in is wanting to know, who the fuck am I playing tomorrow in this FIFA tournament? Am I going to be in the group of death? Am I going to be in the cupcake group? Like, am I going to get very lucky and get to play my friend Will or play David Bolte? Or am I going to be screwed and be in a group with Argentina and Spain? So we're going to transition right now, and we're going to bring up the actual draw. So like I had mentioned, and our screen is fucked here because I wasn't paying attention. We have a spinning wheel, and the way that this works is our host Wales is A1. So they are the hosts. They play the opening match of our FIFA tournament. We actually have 5 groups. So we're going to draw, A1 is set as Wales. We're going to draw B1, then C1, then D1, then E1. And then we will draw A2, B2, and so on and so forth. With the way our bracket is set now, having 20 teams, there will be a team who finishes second who gets a first-round bye. So we will adjust to make whatever group that is the group of death to give whoever finishes second in the group of death, which is the hardest group, a first-round bye. So to start this off, Max, I'm going to let you hold the mic, and we're going to kick this off and see who will be in Group B1 for the 2022 FC Dragonriders FIFA Invitational. So, yeah, we're just waiting for Wales to get back, but we're going to redo the entire draw. We have actual people keeping track of who's going to be up next. We had an issue with technology, and then we had an issue with cameras not working, and everything is just fucked. So we're going to just redo the entire draw. David Bolte says he is here if you don't slander me anymore. I love you, David Bolte. I'm glad you're here. We need you. Okay, so we have a pen and paper. A1 is Wales. We know that. I'm gonna crack open this fucking beer and. Hey, Cornman just donated not 1, not 2, not 3, not 4, but 500 bits, which will probably help Wales fix their technology. Thank you, Cornman. All right, so we're going to redo the entire draw. So let's go to the actual draw screen. So we've restarted. So we have Wales is A1. Fuck, I'm so sorry, guys. This has just been a mess. So we're going to redo the entire thing. So we're picking who is going to be now in B1. This is for B1.
Right down, Kerry.
Austria. I don't know who's Austria, but Austria...
The home of international fascism.
Austria is going to be B1. What I'm going to do in this other screen, I'm going to actually bring this over so we can see who's who. And now we have a fucking ad playing. That's dope. Okay, so here's our list of teams. So we believe Austria is David Bolte, correct?
Yeah.
There you go, David. You got first pick, my friend. You are first in the you're first up here. Okay. What do you say? Yeah, I'll remove that. I gotta hit remove here. Max, actually, I'm gonna have you just hold the mic like right here while we do this.
Yeah.
Come over closer to this here in the screen. All right. This is for C1. C1, Group C1. Here we go. Who's going to be C1?
Brazil.
It's working out the same way still. So Brazil is C1.
I think the algorithm on this computer is
It might be a
preset.
little rigged. All right, now we're going D1. And we'll break all this down in our...
Bracketology.
There's USA. USA's in its own group in D1. I just would like to read a comment from Cornman while we're waiting. He has changed his allegiance from Colombia to Austria, it appears. So he says, if Dave doesn't win, I'm going to riot.
That's going to break Zach Grove's
So we
heart.
just drew D1, correct? Now we're drawing E1, which is the last group. This is where we fucked up last time. E1, Spain. Spain is in E1 by themselves.
That's different.
Yeah, it's definitely probably favorable to Spain. Now, this is who will be in the opening match. We were all super hyped for Argentina-Wales, a rematch. I'm so sorry. It still could be.
Probably lost some viewership.
England! Yes! England! And Wales.
I'd rather fucking shag a sheep than wear a rose.
All right. Carrie, this is for who is playing
B2 against Austria.
Austria. B2, who will be playing against Austria? God, I hope it's Scotland. Austria and Australia. Not hard to forget that group.
Who is Australia?
Joey.
That'd be Joey Franklin.
All right, we are going
B2 against Brazil.
C2. This is who Brazil is playing. Burke is here. He's nervous. Is it going to be Argentina? Is it going to be
Sweating beads.
Argentina?
Sweating.
The FIFA gods have spoken. It's Argentina and Brazil for what, a record?
A lot of times.
Oh man, hey, you're just in his group. Doesn't mean you only play him once. He can't knock you out. All right, this is for D2. This is USA. Who's playing the USA? Oh, I'm so sorry, Burke. France. Corey, if you're listening, you're playing the USA.
Where's Corey at? He should be
He
here.
should be here very soon. Corey should be here very, very soon. All right, in our last group,
Spain.
who is playing? Oh, this is 100%. I'm gonna be in this group. Oh! Belgium, Spain. Kanan's like, fuck you guys.
Early candidate for the group of death.
Early candidate for the group. Hey, so group of death. As a reminder, whoever finishes second will also get a first round bye. Every winner in the knockout stages who wins their group gets a first round bye, and then one group gets whoever finishes second gets a bye, and that will be whoever's in the group of death, which we will decide upon once the drawing is over. All right, so now we are back into group one, which is England and Wales. Who will be in that group?
Sweden.
Sweden.
Oh,
Sweden. All right, who's our next up?
Austria.
God, I'd love this group. Please put Scotland. Austria, Australia. Who's in this group? Let's go! David, I'm coming for your butt. All right, I love that group. I'll take that group all fucking day.
Brazil and Argentina.
Brazil, Argentina. I would love to see the Netherlands in this group. And we have the Dutch.
You know, if you're listening to the stream, it almost sounded like it might be rigged or something. But just so you know, I don't think it is. I'm not positive. I'm not the one running the equipment, but you know.
Hey, I'm not running the equipment. This is what
USA and France.
USA, France, Germany, Uruguay. Hey, this is favorable. Last year, France knocked Uruguay out of the FIFA tournament.
I would love nothing more than to see a France-Uruguay PK shootout again.
15 players deep. We would love to see that.
I don't think we're doing PK shootouts in group play,
right, what
but
do
I
we
would
have
still
next,
love to see
Gary?
it.
Spain and Belgium.
Spain and Belgium. We are drawing for D3, I believe. D3. Who is in Spain, Belgium, and Germany?
Well,
That's very good for that group. Sorry, Vlad.
it may not be the group of death anymore.
It
We'll see
may
what the
not
fourth
be the
contestant is.
All right, in our last group. Wait, we're back up to number one. All right, this is the final member in the first group, which we have
Wales, England, and Sweden.
Wales, England, and Sweden. Who is the final player in this group? Max, I need you to come this way more. There you go.
Get close.
You just need to be in the camera.
Okay.
Wales,
Here.
England, Sweden, and Ivory Coast. That is a very, very favorable group there for the Welsh to advance. Probably is the 1 seed. But you never know. Ivory Coast and Big Kev, you don't know what they're capable of. Next up, we have
Group B, Austria, Australia, and Scotland.
Austria, Australia, Scotland. I would tell you what, I would love Ireland here. I would be very happy if I got Ireland here. God, give me Ireland. Let's fucking go.
You may say it's rigged. It might be rigged.
When you talk about every year how there's a group of death and then there's a cupcake group, I'm very happy to be in that cupcake group. Hey, David Bolte, you're probably going to make it out of group play, my friend. Good on you. All right. I'm sorry, I'm crying. What do we have next?
Group C, Brazil, Argentina, Netherlands.
Brazil, Argentina, Netherlands. Yeah, they're hoping that it's not Italy. They're hoping that it's not Italy. Who's this going to be?
It's going to be Zach Grove, Colombia. No.
We have Poland and Boone. Who's our next three teams?
USA, France, and Uruguay.
USA, France, and Uruguay. I'm going to say that this is going to be Italy because last year Colombia was the first team off the board. And this year, I'm assuming they're probably going to be the last team off the board. Goddamn, I'm so smart. We have Italy. It's got to be rigged. I've been right every time. And that leaves us in our last group with the USA.
No, Spain, Belgium, Germany.
Spain, Belgium, Germany, Colombia. That is your 2022 FC Dragonriders FIFA tournament draw, round 2.
Yeah, Jesus.
Thank you for doing that for us.
Thank you, Kerry.
Let's
break this down.
We're going to create this really quick. We're going to come up with the group of death, and then we're going to break this down. Just please pause with us momentarily. The coverage will be back soon. All right, guys, we're so sorry. This has been a mess. This is the worst broadcast. We like to blame the smallest country to ever host the FIFA tournament and their technology.
Yeah, Wales is taking the blame for not.
All right.
Yeah, we weren't ready.
So, we're looking here. Max, come over here. We're doing bracketology now. We're way behind.
All right.
So this is your group 1. But I'll bring it up on this screen here. So, but our viewers can see what is happening, but I'm also going to bring up the bracketology on our main screen here. So, Max, just what are your initial thoughts? Obviously, tell us your thoughts and feelings on the redraw. Your thoughts and feelings on the redraw and your overall impressions of how you feel like this draw went.
Thoughts and feelings on the redraw. There's going to be people that are upset. If there's people that were on the broadcast early on and they saw, okay, I'm slated to face off against somebody who is not very good. And then they look back later on, or maybe they don't look and they find out tomorrow that they're actually playing somebody who is very good. There's going to be issues. There's going to be some complaints with this draw. And, when you rely on technology, especially Welsh technology, this is going to happen. So here we are. There's not anything we can do about it now, but we redrew. We wrote it on paper. We should have been doing that in the first place. But here we are.
You have it all accurately in front of you.
We redrew the entire group stages. And if you're watching now, which some of you probably logged off, but if you're watching now, this is correct what you're looking at. So we're going to go straight to Group A, and we're going to talk through this. So Group A, the host, Wales, is in the same group as England, Sweden, and Ivory Coast. And if I look at this group, immediately I think Wales is coming out on top, number 1. They are the runner-ups from last year. They had a solid performance. They still have a couple good players on that squad, despite some of the shitty lower half players on that starting 11. But they are going against a mostly inexperienced group besides the Ivory Coast. Now, the Ivory Coast, I think, is the wild card in this group. They do not have the golden generation of Tourés, and Gervinho is getting old, but I think Big Kev probably comes out of this group with Wales. I think England and Sweden are left out. We will see. So
I personally think it's Wales and then Ivory Coast. I think Big Kev makes it out of knockouts this year, so good on him. Sorry, England. McLean, you just didn't show us enough last year to give me confidence to choose you here. And then Brady Stumer, you could be a god at this game. I don't know, but I'm just going to pick you to get last.
We know nothing about Brady. He does have White Jesus Zlatan, so anything is possible. We'll see what they can do. If we go down to Group B, we have Australia. Mediocre to average showing last year, mediocre to average team in Australia. We have Austria, David Bolte, mediocre to average showing in the tournament last year. Took a step down from Italy. David. They play as a worse team now. They have Scotland, a tournament veteran taking over the Scotland group, but what can they do with a worse team overall than the Netherlands. And
I
then
got Johnny Russell. He scores when he wants.
number 4, we have Ireland. Tyrell, newcomer to the tournament, poor team to play with. If I had to make a guess here, I would say Scotland comes out 1, and I would say number 2 in this group is a battle between Australia and Austria.
I would agree 100%. I'm going to win this group. I'm not going to let up a goal. I'm going to score at least 10. I'm going to have the largest goal difference after the opening group stages. I think a lot of people could probably...
Very confident words from a team who did not make it out of group play last year. We will see how that goes.
Second place could literally be a tie.
Yeah, second place, as Wales says, second place could end up being a typo here.
Okay,
Anyway,
and we just had a something given to us by the host from last year, Uruguay. I think a shot is given to Scotland now that they called their shot. They will be drinking
if I
some
don't have
pickle
if I
whiskey.
don't have a plus 10 goal differential, I'll take a shot.
And you heard it here first.
All right.
Let's move on to Group C. And once again, if you were following the top 10 memorable moments, Brazil and Argentina always seem to square off in the opening stages. The South American rivals once again will meet off in Group C, along with Netherlands and Poland.
Off the bat, if you see this group, knowing the history of the FIFA tournament, you go, oh, that's a group of death. And then you look closer at the details, and you see, oh, Netherlands has the new manager. Oh, Stecklenburg might not be on the squad. He might not select Stecklenburg. Oh, he might not select the veterans. And you look at this group, and I go, oh, easy. Argentina 1. Brazil 2. I'm gonna say though, I think he at least gets a draw. I think 3 or 4 could go either way. Sorry, Boone, but I think Netherlands are just it's a tough team to beat. They're stronger. Their defense, they're arguably one of the best defenses in the world. It's gonna be hard to score with Poland. Poland has Lewandowski.
Yep.
Yeah, but
Blaszczykowski.
he's old as shit and he can't get registered by his club team. I'm not worried about him.
Yeah, I would agree and say that Argentina and Brazil come out of this group. Let's move on to Group D.
Group D. This is an interesting group because I have zero clue how this group could go. This arguably to me is like, if there's like a group that you'd call the bag of cats, it's this group because you have the veteran. Hey, actually you have technically 3 veterans here. You have the USA, you have France, you have Uruguay. The strongest squad is France. Corey has been known to lose the most easiest matches, but he's also been known to beat my ass when he wakes up after being hammered. USA is making the return after a year absence, but they do have a better squad. I still think this is my guess. This is what I think happens. I don't know Graham's game. Oh man, I'm gonna step out. I'm gonna say this is what my heart wants to go. USA, Uruguay, Italy, France, but my brain is telling me Italy, Uruguay, USA, France. My brain is telling me that Kerry makes it out of knockout stages. My heart tells me it's not going to happen, bro. I'm sorry. I'd love to hear your thoughts, Mr. Beeler.
If you want me to give my analysts on this group here, this is a very off the cuff.
This is the hardest group to pick.
This is a hard one to pick.
Far.
I am just going to go out on a limb, and I'm going to say that Italy finishes 1 in this group. I'm going to take Wales' word for it. They're a solid squad, and they're playing as Italy, the Euro champs from 2021. It's a good team to play with.
Yeah, but they also failed to qualify for the World Cup.
Yes.
So.
Well, this is not the World Cup. This is the FIFA tournament. They're going to be fine. Italy's going to finish 1, and then USA.
England is in the building! England!
USA is going to come out of this group too. Yes, they're not the most formidable squad, but yes, they've been practicing. They've been practicing over and over. They're making their return to the tournament. It's going to go Italy, USA, France, and Uruguay are going to be left out, unfortunately.
Okay, question here. If Kerry makes it out of this group, do we all take a shot? All right, you heard it here. If Uruguay makes it out of this group, that's a community shot. And then last but not least,
Can we write these down too?
last but not least, our last group, Group E, we have Spain. They've finished 3rd 3 years running. We have Belgium, Kanan, who I believe is the dark horse of the tournament. I said that last year. He let me down. I'm going to pick him this year. He's got a stronger squad. He's got another year of experience. We have Germany, who is a strong squad on paper. Their manager is inexperienced. He doesn't really care too much about football. And then lastly, we have Colombia, who is arguably Cornman's pick. And Courtman Gobbles has spoken. He says Colombia will win this group, period. The corn man has spoken. So, Spain absolutely. No, they don't roll through this group. I think Spain and Belgium, I think they have a fight. This could go either or. I'm going to give the edge to Spain just because they're Spain. I think it finishes Spain. I think it's going to finish exactly. I'll pick Zach over Germany. I'm going to take Spain, Belgium, Colombia, Germany. I think Spain and Belgium have a shootout that could easily go either way. This could very well come down to goal differential. So is Spain or Belgium going to dominate Germany or Colombia more to advance? But I think either it's a 1-2 toss-up of who finishes this group. This is another contender for I wouldn't say this is a contender for group of death. But anyway, I'm going to let Maxwell give his thoughts, and then we will look at the actual bracket itself.
Yeah, initially I look at this group and I thought maybe group of death, but I think that's going to end up being between D and E possibly. We need to scroll up and we'll look a little more, but we will decide that shortly. I would say that out of this group is probably going to be Spain finishing 1, and I'm going to say Belgium finishing 2. I think that Colombia is going to make a run at 2 and may have a chance, but I'm going to guess they finish 2, and Germany, even though they've been practicing their skill games and learning how to play the game a little bit, I think they come out 4th.
Yeah, it comes down to how well will Colombia play both Belgium and Spain. You never know. Zach could come in firing, and he could pull out a draw. And a draw with Colombia could change the entire trajectory of this group. If you look closely, you can see wins give you 3 points. If you get a draw, you get 1 point. You lose, you get 0. What we're still contemplating between the FIFA committee is, do we end the match after 90 minutes, or do we allow extra time for a winner to be chosen? And then if extra time ends in a draw, it's a draw. Where we will not be doing penalties at all in group play. Group play is 0 penalties. Penalties will become a thing in knockout stages. We're just determining if we want to allow extra time to allow somebody to get a win. But we're going to scroll up here, and we're going to actually look at the bracket now and break down what the bracket looks like.
From Italy.
Italy says, I'm about to drive over there for that take. Tell Grand Garbison to get his ass over here. I'll eat it. So we look at this final stage. So this is what you're looking here is what the bracket will look like. So I know we've numbered groups A through E. We're going to go through and we're going to determine who is the group of death. The group of death is going to get this. Will you hold this for me, Maxwell? The group of death is going to get this bye that's right here where you see second in group C gets a first round bye. So we're going to allow whoever ends up in the group of death, which is the hardest group. If you finish second there, you deserve a first round bye. So you can see here, second in the groups is going to play a round 1 match. Whoever finishes second in those groups is going to play a round 1 match against each other. My mouse just doesn't want to work now. Cool. Everything is breaking today. So first round, whoever finishes first in the groups gets an automatic bye into round 2. Whoever finishes second starts in round 1. Plays to advance in round 2. And then even if you make it out of knockout stages and you lose right away, we have a loser's bracket. So after typical knockout stages or group stages, you have a double elimination tournament, but this is what the tournament looks like. So at the end of the day, somebody will progress all the way through the winner's bracket to the final, and they will play the winner of the loser's bracket final, and that winner of the loser's bracket final will have to beat the winner of the winner's bracket final twice to win the FIFA tournament. So let's say, for example, Scotland plays Belgium in the first final, but I came from the loser's bracket final. I have to beat Belgium again in order to win the tournament because they have no losses because they came from the winner's bracket. So we're going to break this down as a whole. Max, you've picked who you think advances out of the group. I want to hear your final 4 teams in the whole FIFA tournament.
Okay, so if I had to pick 4 teams to be the final in the FIFA tournament, I would pick myself. It would be stupid not to pick myself. I would pick Spain. I would pick. Scroll up, please. I gotta look at these other teams here.
How do you not just know that?
I just don't know. I mean, I just worry about myself, dude. Oh, goodness. I'm going to pick myself, Spain. I'm going to pick Wales to return again in the top 4. I think this is Wales' last year of greatness till they move on and some of their guys get worse. And then I'm going to go with number 4. I'm going to say, USA is going to make a run for the ages.
Ask me that same question.
Who do you think is going to be your top 4, Robert?
It's going to be Spain, Argentina, Belgium, Scotland. That concludes the selection show. I know it was ran like a pile of horse shit. I'm so sorry, guys. We appreciate you tuning in. We will be live tomorrow at 2:30 with the countdown clock in the 2022 kickoff. You should tune in early. We're going to do a pregame show. We're going to do a national anthem for Wales. They're the hosts. We're going to do a very special FC Dragonriders anthem. We're going to do a presentation of the title belt. It's a pregame show, opening ceremony. Tune in. We kick off our first match tomorrow at 3 p.m. Central Time. We will post the video to YouTube shortly, but that is your bracket. That is your draw. We love you all. And Corman says, Zach has pocket sand. I hope he uses it. And with that, we're signing out.